Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkey with StartupTrading.com. It is Thursday, June 4, 2020. So looking back at yesterday's action, you can see once again everyone building all their time, energy, effort, and price action above the previous day's value area, and for the most part above the previous day's high. The Nasdaq, a little bit less. So I drew this out so you could see, how the other three indexes yielded compared to the Nasdaq. You can see how the Nasdaq really underperformed that one. So as we before we get started, I would just want to mention I had sent this out last night. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I'll go over it now. So we are right now at the 78.6. Basically, I'm just under it as we approached it last night. That's 31.34 from the high to the low. So as we've retraced back up here, right, we've also had this breakout to where we got above basically 3,000. So as we broke up here, we've come up, another 120 points or so above there, 130 almost. So as we've come up here, right, it would be perfectly normal to get a little bit, we're at, potential resistance. This would target down if this holds, right? I'm not calling for this to hold, but, down to 1893 on the S&P 500 with a NASDAQ already, over and positive for the year and making new highs. I'm not saying that that's necessarily on the table for this index to happen, but what we have to be aware of that it'd be perfectly responsive to the market to come back down a little bit before we hop over this price action, right, and get into this next void up here. So if we look at it, so what I said was from February 26th on, everyone who's tried to short this market going into yesterday's close was pretty much wrong, right? So anyone who just blindly bought the S&P 500 from March 23rd on is correct. They're at the high from that buy, right? Nothing. They're all correct. But one thing I also looked back at those candles. If you were to have bought just randomly any time during here, the maximum number of days, not points, but the maximum number of trading days that trade went against you was 6 days only since there. So, less, just a hair over a week, right? And you were rewarded for just buying blindly going through here. That's not, likely to continue forever. We'll probably get some retraces back and forth, but what you have to remember is that, so if we get a 3 to 6 day pullback from here, which would be perfectly, reasonable, we could go down to 30, 60, 50, 30, 12, half, and that would still be above this last little breakout area, right? And then we could, progress up. If we start getting back below basically 29.35, you're going to be in the midst of a much deeper pullback, and we'll talk about that if and when it happens. So with all that said, let's look at today. We had the ECB overnight press conference going on right now. I'm sure it's doing something for somebody somewhere. We had unemployment, claims coming a little bit worse than expected, but that's just the times that we live in. And then tomorrow we're going to have non-farm payroll. And to be honest with you, I don't know what number could print here, positive or negative, that's really going to have a huge impact on the market. What you have to understand is this is just an event that's going to let the long-term people that really think that they're into, fundamental analysis rate the market, right? So we don't really follow fundamental analysis too much around here. We're into technical analysis and price action. So we'll just flip through these charts. But last 5 days, Russell back to underperformer. All the other indexes were the same. 10 days, Russell the outperformer, right? And then we have a little bit of a stand. If you're a subscriber to the newsletter, you can peruse this at your will. So looking at the volume overnight, 32.5 points so far. we had topped out during the regular session at 29.5. Come back and so far in the overnight session at 26.75. And really, we're just slightly below value area low right now after kind of traipsing through it in the middle of the night, and really had a floor on yesterday's bell open. We've, faded back under yesterday's low for now. So if you look, to the left on the chart, basically everyone who bought anything basically from yesterday's bell open up, right? There's only a few traders that are correct. That could have just been enough to flush out, suck some more, shorts in and go back on our merry way. I think we'll find out today, what the market has in store. If we look at all the indexes, right, below value area low, messing around with printing below yesterday's low, below value area low, hasn't got under yesterday's low yet for the NASDAQ. We already talked about the Dow already just testing still right in value, right? This is value area high up at 26,236, value area lows at 25,927. So just normal day for the Dow, nothing really going on to make it lower. So the Dow is going to need to fall back down a little bit. We've got some sequences going on. We'll see if they hold or not going in. So I had turned off the extended. Hold on. So there we go. The left side of this chart's from yesterday's action. The right side is from today's action. So this is looking for bullish sequences. You can see that the bulls keep getting their hopes reset all night long, breaking this. So really we're watching the bear sequences, right? Held the 38.2 short, held the 38 to 50 short twice. Just come up and tagged the 50 short, come back down, and basically ran to targets for that draw. So we'll see how it goes now, but basically staying under 31.10 half is going to be much more pressing for the bulls, right? And the bears, this is the bears' day to lose. So you've heard me say this is the bulls' day to win or to lose. So today is the bears' day to lose. They've got everything set up for at least over the next several days, including this session, anywhere between a 60 and a 120 point pullback. Nothing to write home about as far as what we've done coming off the bottom, but is their day to lose. Looking at the NASDAQ, you can see it's trying to hold a 61.8 short, incrementally made another lower low, but didn't really go anywhere. And I'm sorry about that. And looking at the Russell while we're here, so holding the 38.2 short, come down, run to targets, coming back up, hold the 61.8 short, right? So the bears are a little bit more pressing in everything but the NASDAQ as well. So looking at the ES, and we can throw some other lines on here right now. All right, we can just look at this previous consolidation highs, and that's really around where we've bottomed out, right around the 30.93s. And then if we look beyond that, we're going to have something around 30.75. And then this is the real, I'm going to dot these out. I'll do it after we're off here since I'm running late. But this is the real main supports that I'll be watching. The 30.57 quarters and the 30.60 half, right around in here. That's what I would like to see for a pullback coming into, whether it happens this session, next session with non-farm payroll coming out. And if we're going to continue up higher, right, we at least need to get down to here on the charts, I think, in my opinion. So looking at the NASDAQ, as long as the NASDAQ holds up, we'll throw another little line on here, basically above 96.05. I don't think there's anything shorts. Again, the NASDAQ, you can just see it flatlining going across the day. it's really a market I would just stay away from once again today. And you can see it had the least movement overnight as well. So for the Russell, we're flirting with taking out this 13 or 1433.40, and then I really don't have anything down here. I'm going to wipe this one off and move it up. If the bulls are going to do anything, it's going to be from here on the chart, right around this 1421. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot of support or resistance. We could, throw something right here as well. But right around 1403. So getting under 1400 is just the stair step down. So looking at the Dow, who is the strongest overnight, right? It's not really doing anything. It's got up here to this next resistance. Remember last week we hit 25,750. Well, this week we're coming up to a little bit firmer resistance at 26,297. So above that I have 26,510, and we'll see what happens. But we could just end up retracing and holding above 25,750 today would be a little bit more bullish, right? If that gets lost anytime in the next week or so, this is an important spot that on the chart for the Dow, this 25,750. So getting below that is going to be obviously more bearish, and we'll see how long it stays below it if and when it happens. And getting above 26,510, really the next stop on the bus up for it isn't until you get to 27,100. So we'll see how this all plays out. So looking back at the indexes, again, just an incremental lower low, but below yesterday's lows. So we flushed out anyone who had stops basically on the servers. So now we'll see. I like to watch the top of the 9 o'clock bar. It is time for me to exit so Jack can start. So you guys have a great day, but just really watch the value areas today. See if we, 3 or 4 above or 3 or 4 below, kind of go with trend on that. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.